It's hard to summarize. I didn't have the easiest childhood, I would say. A lot of my teenage years, I was like seeking trouble. I struggled my entire life with depression, anxiety, those types of things. My entire life, we were at church. If the doors were open, my dad was a pastor, youth pastor, associate pastor, all the things. I would say I was always saved. It was always an important part of my life, but I wasn't completely committed. I had really bad postpartum depression and anxiety, and got into a really dark place. And shortly after that postpartum, my daughter got her autism diagnosis, and then after the autism diagnosis, my other kid was diagnosed shortly after that with autism, and shortly after that we found out my daughter had a genetic disorder. We were getting hit over and over, and whenever you find out that your kid has, a genetic disorder or some sort of disability, you go through like this really dark grieving phase. I had always felt like I was not fitting into the box of Christianity. I was never going to look like the church wanted me to look. I was never going to be this perfect person that I felt like I had to be able to come to God. And it had put this wall up between me and God, because I felt like I couldn't accomplish what I had to accomplish for him to love me. I was sitting with my counselor, and she had me talk to God out loud, and she said, just tell him what you're feeling. Just be honest with him. He already knows. I had this moment where I cried and I yelled at God and I said, I don't understand. I don't understand why you allowed me to go through this kind of hurt, and why you gave me two perfect kids and then made the road for them so hard. She said, God said, give me one more time to show you who I am. Forget everything that you were told. Forget everything that everybody told you that I was, and come find me for yourself. So we came to Rise, and when we came here, I was heartbroken. I felt rejected by the church, and we didn't think, me and my husband, that there was gonna be a place for us, and not only for us, but for our kids. And that first day that we were there at Rise, it was Chase telling the story of how Rise originated and why the church was here. And me and my husband both looked at each other and we were like, this is our church. This is where we're supposed to be. That I started to, what I would call, untangle my spaghetti brain, because I had all of this regular trauma and religious trauma and shame and guilt, that I had to start picking it apart and figuring out what I believed and who I thought that I actually was. And at that point, I had like an aha moment where I realized that God loved me where I was. He loved me where I was at. I didn't have to be anything. My kids didn't have to be anything. The world didn't have to understand my kids. They didn't have to understand me. It was me and my relationship with the Holy Spirit.